Hello and welcome to another review of a game by Jelida from Black. This is a game I actually just had with him and I asked him to send me the replay. And this is quite a funny game simply because there's sometimes a situation where never mind how much carrying you do, it's just not enough. Now, I watched this guy. We had an entire side to ourselves at some point. We were playing each other. It was very evenly matched. He was putting up a very good fight, and I thought that this is a replay that's definitely worthy of going within the How to Henry, especially considering what he did and how much he pulled not just his weight but the weight of his team around him. Now, as you mentioned a little bit in the beginning, it is a slightly boring start, so I'm just going to speed this up just a little bit. Please remember, when you're playing a Henri is not meant to be a frontal ship. It's not that it can't be, it's just preferably shouldn't be so far up ahead. Okay, if you're using a Henri, you want to use the range on the Henri, you want to use the HE, you want to burn things from as far away as possible, and then when it comes down to it, if you're at range and you have that miraculously amazing speed boost, then you should be able to dodge most of the shells coming in that are coming to hit you simply by going forward, slowing down, reversing a little bit, and turn the speed boost up, and then waiting for it to wear out, and that can keep you alive for much longer than most other ships, for more than most other ships, period, to be honest. So if you know how to use this ship, this is one of the hardest ships to deal with, simply because, like I said, between the speed and the firepower that the Henri has, especially if you have IFHE on it to do with the larger, heavily armored ships, you can do a ridiculous amount of damage. Just insane. Now, as we can see, Jelida basically goes up towards B, spends most of the time in the middle. It seems like, to be honest, I'm looking at this, and between seeing what the Salem and the Cleveland idiots are doing, just standing there in the middle, absolutely wasting life over there, I would have done exactly the same thing. He spends his time a little bit in the center seeing which side is going to need a little bit more assistance, while he is using the max range of his guns to pretty much spam whatever is within range. You can see that he has a Tirpitz and a Shimakaze going on the far 10-9 line. They're solo. Probably not the smartest thing to do. Being solo at any given moment is just not a good thing to do, especially on that far horizon, because you're so far away from the rest of the team. The Musashi on the enemy team, on my team, is basically pushing down straight into the gunfire of Jelida and the Henri. It's currently 2 versus 2. There's a big spam. You can see that these guys have no clue what the hell they're doing. Right? Most of the players in the team are absolutely clueless. Enemy team is Yu Yang, Akizuki, Henri, Vanguard, Missouri, and the Des Moines on one side versus a Tirpitz and a Shimakaze. Akizuki decides to sit on his ass on the opposing side, basically wasting his life behind a rock, while Jelida is just spamming ahead, and look at it, just beautiful early damage. He doesn't even have to move much. All he does is sit. He gets a couple people are targeting him. I believe that one of them is me. And basically, all he does is he reverses and goes forward, reverses and goes forward. Musashi has some torps coming on his side. Will he eat them? He also just repaired one fire. Why would you repair a single fire, Musashi? Because there's your second and probably a flood. Very likely to also have. And there's the second fire. Musashi is dead. Dead. Okay? Yeah, absolutely gone. Missouri, this could have ended very poorly for Jelida. He just RNG in his favor. I guess the Missouri shot a little bit closer range than what he should have. Missouri is reversing. Jelida starting to put some fire on the Missouri. The Tirpitz, fairly low, half health, seems like about 22k, spending his time roaming into the cap in front of Missouri while he has a Henri, Akizuki, Yu Yang, Vanguard, and a Des Moines also behind him. Probably not the smartest move to do. I don't know what was the rush for the cap, but he goes straight into it. The Shimakaze sits on the far horizon. I know the Shimakaze had a really good game as well. The enemy team on the opposing side already losing 2 ships. One of them is the Musashi, and the other one is the Atago that was pushing into oblivion, because why the hell not? Of course, if you have 5 ships going against you, the most important thing to do is to rush straight into Death's Arms, just that loving embrace of kamikaze every time you do something with your ship, because, you know, screw my team and screw everything that happens. So we can see here that the situation is actually really nice for him. He's not getting attacked by anyone. He has everything within range. 20.6 kilometer range on the Henri is beautiful damage. And even though the shells themselves have a pretty high arc, and it can be very easy to miss those cruisers and DDs, what you want to try and shoot at is constantly... Oh, look at that beautiful soul redemption. Oh my god, you are gorgeous. Gorgeous. You want to try and avoid shooting the cruisers early on, and maybe try... Oh, a little bit of a mistake there, but thank god he has a island right in front of him to cover up that mistake. Or is it a mistake? Maybe it's not a mistake at all. Shells split between, switches to AP. Doesn't seem to do that much either. So with the Henri, you want to try and shoot at the big, heavily armored, basically the Stalingrads, the BBs. Those will give you a lot of damage. They also have less repair time on the fire. That will be also for the super cruisers that are going to be coming very soon, the Zuma and the likes. Those are the type of cruisers you want to be shooting at, the slow ones, the ones that have 60 seconds time on their fires, those who have to repair at a certain point and then they don't have it for a very long time to repair. You want to try and avoid shooting at the cruisers. The cruisers just not gonna do that much for you. So again, very good job. He follows the Shimakaze onwards in order to try and prevent a push from the 10 line to make sure that we don't get any sort of push on them. The opposing side seems to be losing a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. There's a Des Moines, a Conqueror, and a Republic. Seems to be having some good time with dual Conquerors, a Hindenburg and a Missouri. They also got the Sashio. How the hell did that happen? There's no radar there. I can only assume that Sashio was being a complete jackass and probably opened his guns or sat in smoke. Like, why the hell would you do that? You're in a Sashio target-rich environment, voila, but you don't know how to use it. It seems like he's taking a little bit of damage from me and the Henri. Akizuki sits behind him and spotting him. That Shimakaze is a menace. He's gonna be torping both myself and the Akizuki very early on. I know he's gonna get a lot of kills there. Very good job on his account using the speed boost, slowing down, speeding up. Just how you should be doing it. A Henri is an agile ship, but it's a piece of freaking butter. You want to avoid getting hit by it. Never mind if it's HE or AP. If you use the speed boost correctly, you will be able to dodge a lot of shells, turn, slow down, speed up, and that's exactly what he's doing. And look at that. He's actually surviving shots from a Des Moines, a Henri, a Vanguard. He's doing fantastic work. The Conqueror on the opposing side, on the western front, seems to have gone down probably to the Republic and the Des Moines. This is a fairly close match. It seems like a very close match, and it is. The DDs on both sides, there's only one DD right now, an Akizuki and a Shimakaze. Shimakaze is keeping well hidden. He's not opening his guns. He's basically providing both cover by using his torps, his random torp spread, which is actually very accurate, very good job. And he is, if need be, can provide for support in the form of scouting for the Henri, and therefore the Henri can allow itself to basically cloak up, decide I don't want to engage anymore, I need to sit back, stop shooting, and then reverse back and allow himself to shoot again whenever he is able to do so. So, two Henris fighting it out. The opposing side, a Conqueror, for some reason decides that going on the one line is the smart thing. I can only assume that he wanted to get some sort of shot into the Republic, but by doing so, leaving the Missouri to be alone versus a Conqueror and a Republic, something that shouldn't happen. That Missouri is way too weak to deal with two tier 10 ships. It's a great, amazing ship, but definitely not something that should be just go ahead and do whatever. The Salem, what the hell are you doing, Salem? Move your ass out. I understand there's a Conqueror, fully understandable, but you've been sitting there the entire game. This guy has been absolutely doing nothing. I hope he has some great time with whatever he is and whatever he's doing with his right arm, whether it's on the mouse or on something else. But overall seems to be a pretty minute, if not completely not helping the game in any sort of way. Contribution equal 0. Vanguard makes the mistake of his life, pushing forward on Henri. Jelida basically uses the consumables in order to burn him down, and Vanguard also takes torpedoes, and that pretty much sums up the whole ordeal. The situation right now is in their favor, 5-4. This game switches back and forth. Jelida doing fantastic work of keeping his Henri alive. He's cloaked up completely now. He knows that he doesn't want to engage until he gets a nice heal. Speeds himself up in order to get back into the action. Knows that the Henri is heading back towards the caps to assist against the Missouri and the Conqueror. He knows that he needs to help them out. Akizuki goes into the cap and for some reason decides to go, I'm assuming, help the Missouri. I don't understand why the Akizuki, he's opening fire, because of course, why not? He, instead of Akizuki, could be going for the Shimakaze, supporting, but no, he decides that he's going to use his guns and basically go spam the Missouri. How much does it help? I'm not exactly sure. Missouri is low anyway, and eventually seems to go down to the Republic, I believe. Enemy Conqueror pushes straight through the cap in order to support against the Missouri. Again, a stupid mistake, because with all honesty, that Missouri is low as is, and there he goes. He goes down not to the Republic, but to the Akizuki. Minute fires from top to bottom, and the Conqueror itself pushes himself through the cap from C to B, putting himself in all kinds of hells. Jelida already has 9 fires. Now, notice it's not a matter of APHE or getting those all coveted flags. You don't care about the flags. You care about the damage and winning the game. And right now, Jelida is sitting at 200,000 damage. 200,000 damage. That's insane. Insane. He's basically carrying this game solo. Again, the team switches hands. We have 3 versus 4. Republic probably sitting in the B cap. Conqueror going over to help. Conqueror on Jelida's team is facing a Henri, a Conqueror, Akizuki, and a Republic. Beautiful, beautiful work. Jelida getting the high caliber after the Confederate very, very soon together. Republic shows his face while shooting at the Conqueror, I believe, and gets a nice big amount of HE both from the Conqueror and from Jelida and the Henri. Shimakaze heads off back to C. Friendly Conqueror is eating a lot of damage from different sources of damage, basically from the Henri, from the Republic, and the Conqueror. Shimakaze sits in C, spotting the whole ordeal. Conqueror does end up go down. The situation is 4 versus 2. Republic starts to turn his guns in order to deal with the Henri, but he's eating massive, massive amounts of damage. Republic, in honesty, should have turned way earlier in order to deal with the Henri and not dealt with the Conqueror and allowed just the Conqueror to go down to the Henri. Eventually, Republic goes down, leaving both the B cap, the D cap, and the C cap in the hands of the team. So it's currently a 2 versus 3. Beautiful work. Look at that. 13 fires, 1 kill. High caliber Confederate. 238,000 damage and counting with the current fire that he put on the Conqueror. Conqueror very wisely uses HE in order to just try and do the maximum amount of damage. Misses completely behind the Henri. Pushes into the cap in order to stop the clock. Wither for Jelida. This Conqueror has no clue what he's doing. You may as well show your full broadside at this point. Just try and do damage instead of turning your guns in different directions. He's heading over to B. He's eating another fire. Jelida's sitting at 255,000 damage. Conqueror is at 17k and dwindling down. C is being capped by the Akizuki or the Henri. We're not exactly sure. Shimakaze sits on top of the cap. 265,000 damage. Jelida sitting with 21,000 HP. Should be sufficient to enjoy the kill on the Conqueror. One thing I would say is that maybe, just maybe, dealing with the Henri would have been a smarter choice early on, to allow the shimmy to roam freely. But the Conqueror is a much more tempting target and probably a much easier target to deal with. Trying to put some damage into the Henri on the C-cap. Henri turns around. After capping C, basically leaves the area. Conqueror goes down into B. Conqueror is spotted. The guns are not aimed at the Henri. I don't know where he was aiming those. Conqueror ends up putting a decent shot into the Jelida. B is not getting capped. 50-point difference between them. Needs one fire. Akizuki ends up going into D. Shimakaze seems to be going back towards C. Beautiful, beautiful side broadside shots into the Conqueror. Conqueror ends up going down. The fire clock is ticking. Tries to put a little bit more damage into the Henri. Look at that, look at that. Just a few more seconds. But no. Jelida ends up going down to the fire that he received from the Conqueror. Gonna speed this up just a little bit. Shimakaze goes over to try and get D. Torps towards the Henri. Torps miss. He ends up killing the Akizuki. This game was a very, very close match. It was quite beautiful. So what I have to say here, with all honesty, this was a beautiful game and a beautiful, beautiful use of the Henri. Really well done to Jelida. I'm sorry, sometimes you just get one of those teams where everything you do just doesn't matter and you cannot carry hard enough. It ends up with a win for my team on the opposing team from Jelida. Very good job, man. And I hope you keep on playing these games as much as you can. I'm sorry for the loss. Overall, beautiful work. Really, really beautiful work on the Henri. If anybody wants to keep something in mind, is remember a Henri, as much as it is a powerful ship, it's not a frontal ship. It's a support ship, in all honesty. Use the HE. The amount of times we saw Jelida using AP was minute, maybe 1 or 2 volleys as far as I remember, and you should remember that in your gameplay as well. Please, if you like this video, subscribe. If you didn't like this video, still subscribe, like it. Whenever you get a chance, take a look at the other videos as well. If you want to find me on Twitch, ask any questions, how to play, or anything of that sort. My name is Let's Play Potatoes, and I hope I'll see you again next time.